Hey everybody, it's BATJAC J.W. Yes, and you're tuned in to Saturday morning radio show. Different little format this time. I know you're listening, literally tune in. I like doing these every now and then because it's a throwback to kind of back when everybody used to gather around the radio and just kind of listen. So, all right. So last time we met up, we had a radio episode 136. We're at 137 now. I was talking about the modifications that I did to my Glock 34, and we'll get into a little bit of some topics that I actually want to talk about versus like function and I guess more or less like what I like, things that I like. And this came about today because today I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine that runs and owns a gun shop here in town that I like to go to, and it's a true mom and pop shop, so that's one I shop at. I always support them well over any kind of corporation shops. I always go to mom and pop. Not only do they take care of you, but I think it's the heartbeat and soul to America when you support those kind of places before big industries moved in and scooped up all the money and put a lot of them out of business. So I like to support them. As for me, like even my job, you know, I work for mom and pop myself. All right, so here we go. Let's start off with some comments here. And the first up here, we're just reading them as they come up on the feed here. And I do apologize if your comment gets missed or whatnot, because a lot of it is because either during the recording of this, you haven't commented yet, or your comment for some reason got filtered out. And sometimes it does that. YouTube has its own thing that it filters some stuff out. It considers it, I don't know, whatever it puts it at. And then, of course, the moderators and stuff like that I got going on the channel. But anyway, here we go. Let's start off with, and we got Mr. Holster. So we'd also like to say a big special shout out to Mr. Holster. Hope he's doing well, and we wish him the best of luck because he is battling cancer. We want Mr. Holster alive and well and with us, so please go over to Mr. Holster's channel, check him out, give him a subscribe if you have not, and check out his videos and help him out. He also has a Patreon page that he's also been using because that helps fund a lot of his treatments and things like that. So Mr. Holster's a really good guy. I really enjoy his channel. It's interesting how him and I both were doing similar videos like this, and he does his sock show every Friday night. And I've been doing, so kind of interesting how our paths crossed, and it's really neat. So I really like Mr. Holster. He's a really good guy, always makes me laugh, and I feel like his channel is so much, a lot of his topics are so much like how I relate to a lot of my firearm stuff myself. So he says, Mr. Holster says, if you're going to carry a gun, people are fixated on trying to carry the smallest gun they can find. Carry a gun you have a full grip on and shoot well, says I. Yes, that is such a really good comment that I see that because of my job. So many people want this tiny subcompact firearm, which is fine. I'm not, whatever. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But man, like I remember when I first bought my Walther PPK in 380, and it was the first 380 I've ever bought, and the only 380 I've ever owned and have currently, and strictly because of, yes, James Bond. I know, cliche, but that's it. That's all it does it for me is just that movie. And I remember firing it and went, wow, what a snappy little gun for a 380. I don't know. For me. But, it was just a tiny little gun. But I do love my little snubby 38s. Now, granted, I kind of hand load my own 38 special ammunition, and I don't load them to full pressure. So I like a comfortable, fun gun to shoot. It doesn't wear out my vintage guns too much because I like to enjoy them, but I also want them for my collection. So, all right. And we have Bernard Flood. He says, greetings from Ireland. I have to smother my gun in oil or they will rust with all the rain that they get over there. Yes, I know. And I used to live in Hawaii, and it was the same thing. And, I mean, the last thing you want to do is go find your precious gun that you spend a lot of your hard-earned money on. Rather, if it's a collectible or not, you still spent your hard-earned money on it, and it's full of rust, it's pitted, it's ruined, over just neglect. And that was one thing I learned about on the island, was that could happen to you. So that's the reason why some of my early videos when we were done in Hawaii, you know, a lot of times I have to wipe the oil off of them. So, and old habits die hard. I still kind of do that because I would hate to see one of my precious collectibles get ruined by, perhaps, the thing people don't think about it, it depends what you're handling that day or prior to handling your gun. It could have been, what if you're eating potato chips, french fries, something like that. You could have deposited salt all over your gun, and then boom, you got rusty fingerprints, and it could lead to pitting, depends on how long you've neglected it. And a lot of my stuff just kind of stays in the safe. I don't really take it out unless we do a video or I feel like fondling it or taking it to a gun range to fire. So, all right, Lion Quest Fitness. Hi, BATJAC. Heading towards 60, and I guess he's talking about himself. You look pretty darn good for that, if that is true. All right, I'm still a Bob Seger fan. That's right. I still love the old-time rock and roll myself. Wood and steel, and I'm thinking about that Remington as well. We are going to talk about that Remington. Mossberg is also making theirs out of a wood stock with a corn cob fore-end. Yes, I know. That somebody actually commented, it's called the fore-end, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I just like to call it the pump thing. It's just me. But yeah, anyway, that's what I was talking about there, Lion Quest Fitness. But yes, that's cool. I did see that, but there's something just cool about the Remington 870 and its classic line, thing. But I did, and we'll get into that into this chat that we're doing here. On the subject of wood and steel, I just bought a FEG Browning High Power copy. That's so cool. I used to have an FEG High Power. I got rid of it. I do regret getting rid of it. I should have hung on to that. The high powers are so cool. I just, I wish I could have kept a lot of them. And Mr. Holster comes up again. He says, "I wish you would stop talking about Die Hard. Now you got Jack started talking about working with Bruce again." Bruce this, Bruce that. Anyway, yes, Jack. I know he's been going on some wild escapades there, Mr. Holster. Poker games. I will not play poker with Jack anymore. All right, Jerry Johnson, second. Every gun owner should have a snub-nosed 38 special in their collection. Great trick on tuning the recoil on your 34 Glock Gen 4. Thanks for the knowledge, BATJAC. Keep up the great content, sir. Thank you very much, Jerry. I will do so. And my brother over there, Santee, the Arizona Ghost Riders. I really miss my collaboration with that channel. I wish I had more time, and I wish our schedules matched better. I would love to continue doing that. But it's hunting season, and actually Dirty Dan's out hunting, so I've been trying to collaborate with him on some stuff. Darren Bag 6 Gun, great show, BATJAC, talking about Smith & Wesson revolvers. Have you seen the revolver from Indiana Jones? Yeah, it's a really neat revolver. Yeah, you're right. He used two different Smith & Wesson models, model 1917 and the model Mark II, both in 45 ACP. I actually, some time back, I remember seeing some guy had it. It was an old war gun. It was a Colt, and it was 45 ACP, and it took moon clips, and I really, man, I remember it had all the markings and everything. But I just at the time I just was shying away from spending that kind of money on stuff already. I got tired of it. I couldn't. A lot of it is I just really couldn't. I can't afford to anymore. I just can't. And I've kind of been there. I've done it. I've done the collecting and ran at it really hard and bought a lot of collectibles. And I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to pick a lot of it up for very, very low prices. But I think I'm done with that now. I just can't afford it. I'm more interested in trying to put money in the bank and just take care of things like that. You need the money in the bank for rainy days. You never know. So that's kind of mostly my focus on life now, and actually been just selling off some stuff to just kind of put that little extra padding in the bank, more or less than a gun safe full of guns. I know it's kind of strange coming from me, but yeah, that's kind of been it. I'm just kind of I need the money in the bank because I just don't know, what might happen. Like for instance, they just raised my internet bill. I know those dirty dogs. So I want to keep this going because I enjoy YouTube. All right, Joe P. All right, Joe. Good morning, J.W. I'm not much of a shotgun guy, but I do like shooting my Stoger double barrel every once in a while. Yeah, I know. For me, shotguns always have been it's had its resurgence, and it's kind of in my life. I've always liked them, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of movies and stuff. But yeah, they've kind of. At one time I was really done with them, and then they kind of just moved their way back into my life again. And so, like I said, I'll get to talking about this Remington because I think I'm gonna go ahead and first say get it. All right, Scott F says love the wood and steel. Good show as always. Good stuff. Thank you, Scott. And the Real Cobra Burnout says cheers to Mr. Holster, another great radio show. Thank you, Real Cobra Burnout, and a special shout out to him because he's always bringing me. At least I find out a lot about news. Unfortunately, some of it's been rather sad. The losing of a couple of YouTubers here, Ed USAF and C-Max Arms, but I mean, it's nice to see guys like the Real Cobra Burnout and a Crazy Scotsman, just trying to do all they can. And, like even myself, I wish I could do a lot more for helping a lot of this kind of stuff out, but really I'm in bad shape myself. I'm trying to survive out here and keep my own gig going. Just kind of keep my boat floating because I'm out in the middle of the desert all alone, really, for say, except for a couple of my good friends like Santee and Dirty Dan that are kind of my family out here. So I'm just trying to survive, myself without having anything drastic happen and take drastic measures. So, but thank you guys, I appreciate it. Everybody's always, the community here is amazing. I got Mad Murphy, 1961, back. He says, hey, brother, good stuff. Nothing better than steel and wood. Don't worry too much about scratching or putting dings on in the Glock 34. You're just adding character to it. That's right. That's good. It's acquired a couple of scars, so, that's what I bought it for. It's better than that than, I say than one of, like, a beautiful Colt 1911 or something like that. Oh, it's like that. So you scream when you scratch one of those. At least I do. Then you just spray paint it, right? Oh, did I just say that? All right. Peppered 88. Sometimes my thumb twitches and a couple letters come up instead of one. I'm trying to... I was just saying my father was born in 1888, 60 years older than I am. I wish I was born back in the things where it weren't so restricted. I have his discharge papers from the Navy from World War One. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I felt, I feel like myself, like, just being born in the wrong generation. I really do. I feel that way. And I know sometimes it's like, oh, really? You shouldn't think so much, but I do. It's because, I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I guess I was just raised by my parents the old way, and I guess a lot of the way things are now, especially the people that are upcoming, like that are that the 20-year-olds now. I guess I don't know. It's like, man, it was like, sure, it was like 15 years or so ago, but it was like I wasn't like that. I don't know. But then again, I didn't grow up like, through high school and stuff where people were glued to their cell phones. It wasn't like that one for me with my younger days. It wasn't, the cell phone thing didn't kick off the way it is. And I know, and I'm not trying to bash them because they're kind of neat tools now. And I know a lot of people actually utilize them now to watch my videos right here. So I'm not trying to kick on them too much, but it's just different. It's a different lifestyle now that I have not quite gotten into. So, all right, E.B. Saint, he says, whew, Black Rain, yes. Black Rain is a good movie, yeah. Black Rain is definitely one that I remember having that videotape VHS, popping into VCR and watching it quite a bit. And he says, he also says, you're not too awfully far from L.A. And since you're such a movie fan, I was wondering if you're ever going to take a trip to Hollywood. I would like to. I would like to actually go to Hollywood, California. I really would. Bohemian Hunting Club says, cool deal. Yippee-ki-yay. 454 Packers is the only thing that would stop me from watching your Saturday show would be running out of coffee. He has 2 pounds in the freezer, so he's good for a while. Mr. Mark Mac 85. Morning, BATJAC J.W. Have a good weekend, sir. It is so much colder here in Illinois. I wish it was a little colder here because sometimes it's gotten cold. I mean, I'm happy for that. But actually a few days this week was really nice. It has gotten a little bit warmer now, back to a little bit warmer. Sometimes, lately I haven't needed to run the AC, which is nice, but I might have to turn it on because it has warmed up a little bit inside in the place here to stay in. All right, Edward Petty, Wood and Blue Steel. I like you that the best. All right, Led 8541. He says, "Good video, BATJAC. I think he should. Have used duct tape. That Scotch tape ain't that strong." And we're talking about Dirty Harry and him strapping a switchblade to his ankle to go meet the Scorpio, played by Andy Robinson. Great actor. Always probably remembered for that. I actually remember him a lot from Hellraiser, the very first one, which is an interesting character. So the last video that we did was actually the high standard K120 shotgun that I did of Steve McQueen in The Getaway. That's ever since I saw that movie, that's been a shotgun I absolutely been after. I scored one, got it some time back. For those of you that kept up with the channel. And, of course, got it and put it in the collection right away. Awesome stuff. Really happy with it. And so we've got some other videos lined up for the channel, but here let's dive right into it and not waste any time. For me, okay, so my thoughts on this, and this is something I've been kind of kicking around around because I kind of am interested in it. Moving out here to the Free State, Arizona, and everything, as you say, or a lot of people say, which it is. And I haven't really indulged too much in some. I have definitely bought my share and everything. But you guys know, it's like, so when you kind of go from kind of a more restricted state to a freer state when you guns, the magazine capacity doesn't really bother me. Rather if, my, gun has 17 rounds or 10 rounds, that never really bothered me, I guess. I don't know. It just didn't really affect me. So, but this thing that has come out now, this Mossberg did it first with the Shockwave, introducing a 14-inch barreled shotgun. But they're not calling it a shotgun. They're calling it a firearm. And all that whole weird gray zone area, whatever you want to call it. However they did it, which is, I don't know. For me, it's very, very, very confusing and kind of makes me think and ponder. And I thought around that idea for a while. My dad actually really wanted one when he first saw it. And I remember when they first, popped out, and he really wanted one, and all that. And he couldn't get one because they were so difficult at one time to get because they just came out. Anyway, so Remington has one. They came out with one that's got all the wood features. So the grip or the handle, whatever you want to call it, I'm probably just saying all the wrong stuff, but the handle part is wood. So is the foregrip, and it's that old style corncob style. And of course the classic 870, and it's all of its history and everything. And and I know that it's not there you have that battle of, well, is the Remington better or is the Mossberg better, and that whole battle. For me, it's not about the function of the thing. It's about really just, this thing is pretty cool. Like, I gotta admit, Black Rain makes me want one, because in the end, the Michael Douglas's character Nick is tossed a sawed-off little stubby shotgun, and that's what he goes and takes on the rest of the bad guys with. And so what he's actually tossed is, I believe it's a Stevens Model 67. And it's actually a really cheap shotgun if you can find one, but it has that really cool style corncob grip. And by the way, that grip, which is the same grip on those old Ithaca 37s, that style grip, that corncob, where it's like really, it tapers off on both ends and it kind of gets larger towards the middle. It's kind of like an oval almost. It's so cool. That is so neat. I just love it. But, it's something like that. And the fact that you can just have something like that, it might be fun to take to the range. And, who knows, as far as how it would function and how it would feel in your hand. It probably hurt. But, it really has nothing to do with any of that. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's just like, I don't know. I just kind of want it. I don't know if I'll, what I'll ever do with it, other than just kind of play around with it a little bit. But, in comparison, I mean, they're not, I wouldn't say they're dirt cheap, but I wouldn't say they're super expensive either. I mean, they're not something that would price you out of the market to try to buy one just to kind of horse around with it and, just say, woo, that's cool, and just kind of have it kicking around your coffee table for a while and then just wind up, just doing whatever. And I guess you could all the same, if you ever just, like, say if I were, move somewhere that I, that particular item would not be, for say, liked in a state, I could either get rid of it, or like somebody said, you could, you could take the barrel off and take the, buttstock off and put an 18-inch barrel on it and put a regular buttstock on it, and get rid of the shorter barrel and the little pistol grip, or that little handle, I guess they call it. You could do that. So it's just not, and I look at it this way. It's so priced up that it was like, it would price you out of wanting it. For instance, let me give you an example of this. Inland. Yes, we're going back to picking on Inland, and I don't like to bash companies. I don't necessarily do that. I try not to, but I like to be honest with you guys. And I think Inland stuff, that the things that they've been making is just way overpriced. It's just silly expensive. So they went and they made a Ithaca 37 type shotgun. I absolutely love it. I mean, if I had just money to throw around, and just nothing but money to throw around, I would certainly buy one, because it's beautiful. It's parkerized. It's all wood. It's exactly what I would want. But at an MSRP of near $1,300 to $1,200, and on the cheap end $1,000, I really can't. It prices me out of that market. I just really can't justify buying it just to kind of have it because it looks cool. I have a average Joe income. I cannot do that. That kind of prices me out of that. But these little, these Remington, TAC 14s, or the Mossberg, Shockwave, they don't really exactly price me out of the market. I mean, I can afford them. And it's not like, it's $1,000 hit, kind of thing. So it's something you can scrape together a little bit of cash and actually buy and enjoy, and then, just figure out what you want to do with it from there. So that's kind of where I've been sitting on stuff. And, of course, this is season, we got, December and everything here. It's kind of like, you justify it, and you're like, hey, it's Christmas, so you get myself a Christmas present kind of thing, so, but that's just the kind of way I feel about it, and it's like, for me, it's not so much like the function. It's like, for instance, here's another example. Take an old school type World War II 1911. I love them. I love the way they look. I love everything about them. But, the sights are really terrible. It's not really the most, thing for as like, function, like, if you want to take it. But I enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy it for that classic feel of it and what it is. I'm not going to go and take the sights off and put something high tech on there just to make it shoot better. No, I'm not going to do that, because that's just not, I like it for what it stands for. It's like a time capsule. It's all original. It's what it is. That's what I would like it for. It's not something I care so much how it functions. I'm not trying to go to the range and run 1,000 rounds through it every time and run some kind of tactical course or something. I'm just not. That's not what I'm doing. Now, however, I did buy the Glock 34 strictly for work and its function and to run at the range. And if I really just wanted to blast rounds and just keep up with shooting and pull the trigger, that's what I kind of got it for. It's my workhorse. It's just kind of like that, because I'm not trying to, workhorse my collectibles. I enjoy them. I take them, I shoot them, but I'm not trying to wear them out either at the same time. So, with the Glock, yeah, it can handle it. And, there again, they're a dime a dozen. They're just, they just kind of that use it all, use it till it drops kind of. So, anyway, that's the radio show for this Saturday. Dive right into it. Just kind of, talk about some stuff and everything. So you guys enjoy your weekend. Be safe. For those of you that are in some states that are really, really cold, stay warm. Out here it's been pretty moderate, so it's not too bad. But I guess it could be. I've always liked cold weather. I don't know. I just living in Colorado for a little bit and seeing snow and stuff, I kind of miss that. So anyway, but thanks for listening, and you gotta live, you gotta laugh. Life is short, so keep laughing and keep living.